In the darkest corners of the internet, beneath the shifting layers of onion-routed servers and encrypted gateways, I stumbled across something that I can only describe as the most disturbing cult I have ever encountered. And I say this carefully because I've read and heard my share of dark web rumors, but nothing like this. The cult called itself the Order of the Hollow Veil, and it wasn't just some fringe community of lunatics posting cryptic messages. No, this was an interconnected network of people who believed in sacrificing their identities, their families, and ultimately their humanity to an ancient entity they called Kaelith, which they claimed was neither god nor demon but something in between, something that existed in the static between life and death. And to gain access to them I had to pass through layers of initiation tests, encrypted chat rooms that demanded personal secrets, and digital oaths signed in blood, literally, as I learned when they requested a video of myself cutting my palm and dripping it onto a paper inscribed with their sigil. A symbol that looked like a circle pierced by jagged arrows pointing inward, as if devouring its own center. And I admit, at first, I thought it was all theater, until I found their live streams hidden under obfuscated URLs where masked figures wearing robes stitched from what looked like funeral shrouds performed rituals in abandoned cathedrals across Europe. And the more I watched, the more I realized these weren't staged, because the screams, the frantic movements of bound victims, the way the camera shook with raw human panic, none of that can be faked. And what chilled me further were the names that occasionally leaked in their chants. People who had gone missing across different countries, their cases unsolved, their faces plastered on posters in small towns, and here they were, hollow-eyed, forced to kneel in front of Kaelith's effigies, grotesque statues carved from melted wax, rotting wood, and human bone before being erased forever. And the cult wasn't just ritualistic, they were technological too, blending archaic ceremonies with digital dominance, hacking into hospital databases to acquire terminally ill patients, into social services to target foster children, into police archives to cover their tracks, and each step they took was deliberate, orchestrated, guided by their so-called prophetess, a woman they called Mother Elira, whose voice I heard only once, through a distorted broadcast. Yet it seared into my memory because she spoke like someone both alive and decayed, urging her followers to shed their shells and become the veil. And I cannot forget her words. The hollow veil does not hide, it consumes, and in consumption you will be free. And the deeper I went, the more names I saw in their hidden forums. Brother Malek, Sister Corvina, the Ash Collector, Father Drevan. Each a node in their network, each responsible for a different region, and every post they made dripped with meticulous records of offerings, locations, times, and outcomes, like some horrific ledger of human lives exchanged for promises of eternal union with Kaelith. And yet the most unnerving part wasn't the killings, as insane as that sounds. It was their belief that uploading and recording every ritual, encrypting it and scattering it across the darknet, was part of the ritual itself, that Kaelith fed on attention, on the invisible witnesses, that we, the voyeurs who stumbled upon their content, became unwilling participants in the sacrifice. And that's when paranoia took over, because after nights of research I began to notice strange symbols scrawled on the walls near my apartment. Graffiti I swear hadn't been there before, the same inward arrows eating a circle, and then emails slipped into my inbox from addresses I didn't recognize, no subject lines, only attachments that I never dared to open, and my phone would ring at 3:33 a.m. exactly with silence on the other end. Yet I could swear I heard faint chanting in the static, the same low guttural cadence from their rituals, and I started losing sleep, started feeling watched, started wondering if maybe just by knowing their names, Mother Elira, Brother Malek, Sister Corvina, the Ash Collector, Father Drevan, I had already become marked. And the climax of it all came one night when I followed a new hidden link posted in their forum, something they called the Convergence, and what loaded was not a pre-recorded stream, but a live feed of a ceremony happening in real time inside a ruined monastery, dozens of hooded figures circling a central altar, and on that altar lay a man chained, gagged, and trembling while the prophetess herself, Elira, stood above him with a dagger carved from obsidian, chanting into the camera as if addressing me directly, her voice rasping. "You have seen, therefore you are bound," and for a split second her mask tilted just enough to reveal her mouth, stitched shut crudely with black thread, yet somehow still speaking. And before I could even process that, the entire stream cut to black, replaced by a single message pulsing on my screen. "The veil knows you." From that moment on, I wiped my drives, destroyed my devices, but the sense of being watched has never left me. And I am writing this not to scare you, but because someone needs to know. Someone outside their circle needs to hear this before they erase me like they've erased countless others. Because the Order of the Hollow Veil is real, Kaelith is real, or at least real enough to devour the people who cross them. And if you ever see their symbol, if you ever hear their names whispered in the static of your phone, I beg you, look away, because once you witness, you cannot unsee, and once you are seen, you cannot escape, for the veil consumes all.